So, I was at an event last night at the Aliyah Return Center in Beit Zera, near Tiberia. And it was an amazing group of Christians, believers in Jesus, who came together to pray for Israel. And it was really an amazing event. It was videoed and live cast across the entire world. So non-Jews around the world were praying for Israel. And of course, in the front of our minds was a couple things. We're in Sukkoth, of course. We're coming up on the end of Sukkoth, which is the second anniversary of that terrible day when Hamas and Gazan civilians came over and massacred Jews and took our prisoners, took hostages. And thank God it's very timely that we're supposed to get them back very soon, any day now, perhaps even before the end of Sukkot, or at the anniversary of when they were taken. And a woman came up to me, and she just showed me a verse. And I'm not going to do very much explaining, commentary, philosophizing. I would just like to read this to you. It's in Nehemiah, the Book of Nehemiah, which of course talks about Israel coming back and rebuilding the temple. Chapter 8. Chapter 8. I'd like to start verse 16. Okay. So it talks about Sukkoth, about going out, making a proclamation, and that the people rediscovered Sukkot, and that we should dwell in a Sukkot in the 7th month. And it says, go out to the mountain, get branches with olive leaves, pine needles, myrtle leaves, palm leaves, and leaves of the braided tree to make Sukkot, as it's written in the Torah. So the people went out and brought these items. I love prophecy. And they made themselves Sukkot, each man on his own roof and in their courtyards, in the courtyards of the temple of God, in the plaza of the water gate, and in the plaza of the gate of Ephraim. The entire congregation that had returned from captivity made Sukkot and dwelt in Sukkot. The children had not done so from the days of Yehoshua ben Nun until that day, and there was very great joy. Now the word that they use for the congregation that had returned from captivity is V'yasu kol hakal hashavim, min hashevi. Shavim means return, but shavim comes from, the word shevi comes from returning. Shevi means captivity. It means a hostage. Shivuyim are hostages. So we're talking about the return of hostages during Sukkot. And I think that we're discovering a deeper root of the holiday of Sukkot. We were hostages in Egypt, and Hashem took us out. And He took us out. He didn't take us out to discover oil or build mansions. He took us out and said, come, dwell in my houses, my simple homes, my Sukkot, where you'll be underneath and protected by the clouds of glory, which is what the schach is supposed to be. And that's what freedom is, not freedom, this big, loud band and, lots of fancy stuff. Freedom is, in Torah, freedom is being free to serve Hashem. And there's so many stories of hostages who couldn't keep Shabbat, couldn't keep Pesach, the holidays, couldn't be with their families. They weren't free to do what they wanted. They were also not free to serve Hashem, and they were being kept captive because they were Israelis, because they were Jews. They were non-Jews as well, but you have to be free to serve God. That's why God created freedom, is to make us free to serve Him. And that's what Sukkoth is about. You're entirely surrounded by God. And that's what I think Nehemiah meant when he said, you're coming back from captivity on Sukkoth. On Sukkoth. Sukkoth was important. If you come back from captivity and you don't do Sukkoth, then you're not doing it. So God willing, this Sukkoth, we'll see the return of our precious hostages. We'll see the return of our soldiers. And we'll see peace in the land. And we'll be able to dwell in God's house forevermore. God willing. Y'all be blessed. Thank you.